What up, though? And welcome to Lunchtime Detroit Lions Talk, brought to you by Detroit Lions on the Prowl and Lions Nation Unite. It's your man, Curt Still. Today is Tuesday, November 1st, 2022. It's the first of the month. Get up, get up. On deck for today's show, LL looks at the firing of DB coach Aubrey Pleasant. I asked, what's the cause for Detroit defensive struggles? And Coach Mike thinks if Brad Holmes didn't draft you, you're on the trading block. But before we get into all that, man, it's time to bring in the rest of the crew. Back from his sabbatical yesterday, it's the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, your auntie's favorite player, my man, LL Cool Torrance. What's going on, my dude?
What's that, Prowl Nation, and good morning.
And y'all know who it is. It's the boxing pride of Jackson, Michigan, that defensive line coach extraordinaire. It is who?
Down 50 pounds. It's the Wolverine, Coach Mike Jones. What's going on, Lion fans?
Let's get this thing started
Right now.
Let go.
It's Detroit Lions talk, baby.
Welcome to Detroit. Hey, welcome back to the show, people, man. Back and better than ever. My man, LL, holla at your boy about that firing yesterday. That was a tough call, man.
Well, it came down to it. We've been saying, well, there's been rumblings of it recently, especially after some of the more recent losses, that somebody had to go. And as this tweet by Ari Mirov says, at My Sports Update, the Lions defense had a 40.4 coverage grade this season per PFF, the worst in the league. Their passer rating allowed is 112.9, the highest in the league. Dan Campbell makes a change with the team at a disappointing 1-6 record. The Lions are making staff changes. They have fired DB's coach Aubrey Pleasant, and it was first reported by Dave Burkett. Mm-hmm. So, Aubrey Pleasant was one of the better young defensive minds in this game. We all on this show, really hoped that he could stick around. He had some opportunities to move around and had to take on some bigger roles. So, I personally, I just hate that it had to be him. It had to be somebody. I don't know what his impact per se was directly onto the secondary, but if it was his fault, then I guess they protect him as long as they could. But if it's not, Aaron Glenn, you next. But I should have said that like Hulk Hogan. Damn, I missed the opportunity, y'all. My bad. But Aubrey Pleasant got fired. Our secondary is trash, and that's pretty much the basis of it. Your guys' thoughts?
All right, so the Pleasant firing caught me off guard. He's a good coach. He's helped in the development of some of the young talent in our secondary. I think the firing was a knee-jerk reaction to the game on Sunday. Now, here's the reports out of Allen Park. The MCDC was not happy that the secondary didn't execute the game plan in the second half versus Miami. Now, I have to say this. To Pleasant's defense, I think those young fellas on Sunday, and Coach Jones, he kind of agreed with me yesterday, that they held their water as long as they could. Yes, on Sunday versus one of the best wide receiving duos and passing attacks in the NFL. You look at their numbers, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are up there as one of the top duos in the league. But Tua has one of the best passer ratings in the league, one of the highest completion percentages in the league. Now, I have to say this. Our pass defense has been bad all season long. You said it, LL. You gave us the stats. And he is the secondary coach. But there are many factors that go into that lack of production by our DBs. Injury to the veteran players. I said it yesterday on the show, you had two more veterans down. You had the veteran starting nickel slot or nickel corner, whatever it is. Mike Hughes was out, and Deshaun Elliott was out. So who does that leave? Two young players on the back end of that defense. What do you say? Well, Juju, who's been around the league for a while? He has, but he hasn't been a starter. So he's young as far as playing experience. So you look at what we had back there, those injuries, and you have to look at the lack of a consistent pass rush that hurts our young secondary. That is the cornerstone of any defense, and a good secondary has to have good pressure up front. You just can't leave those guys on the island. I don't care who the hell they are. You look at what's going on out in LA right now. LA had one of the best defenses in the league last year. They're struggling right now. They can't get a pass rush. Aaron Donald can't get to the quarterback, and they're getting lit up out there in LA. So this firing may come back to haunt the Lions, just to be honest with you, because I think AP is a really good coach. He's a good teacher of the game, and he will be in demand. He will get a job sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
His firing, though, and you said this, LL, and I agree with you, and I said this to someone last night. His firing was a warning shot to the rest of the defensive coaching staff, and to include Aaron Glenn. This was a warning shot. Y'all asses, this is what's going on. I love you, you my brothers, but if y'all don't produce, y'all asses got to go. What you got, Coach Mike?
Yeah, you know what? First of all, I just want to say the wrong initials got fired. I think it should have been AG instead of AP. But you know, that's up for argument. You know what? Like I said, speaking on what I said yesterday and what I was uttering before on Thursday, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are leading the league in yak. Like they are not just fast, but they're route technicians. You know what I'm saying? So they're the top two of the top five fastest people. Tyreek Hill's the fastest person in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's a route runner now. He wasn't a route runner before. He was just fast. Now he's a route runner. And then you get Jalen Watt, like it was Dustin, man. But you know, man, I just don't know, man. I would have did it I would have did it more after New England game. Now, the New England game, when they ain't had no damn receivers and they ate us up, then I would have fired. Maybe I would have fired Aubrey President. I wouldn't have did that after the Dolphins game, man. That was Dustin. Like, we're not the only team to get killed by Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Yep.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody get killed by Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, especially when Tua was in.
But
so
Baltimore got trashed up by them cats and came back and lost. They lost to the Dolphins because of those two cats.
Yeah. So
go ahead, man.
Like that was an overreaction type of game. I just don't think Aubrey Pleasant should have been, because he's the reason why Jeff Okudah is back to, you know, is playing good this season, man. So I wouldn't have done it. Like I said, if anybody had to go, it would have been AG instead of AP.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to add one thing.
What you got,
just to piggyback off what both of y'all just said, but especially what Mike just said. Well, Aubrey Pleasant, man, it was a relationship. You know, like you seen him. Like we got to see like this interaction between him and Jeff Okudah on the sideline, even though it hasn't always been positive. And even him and Jerry Jacobs, you know, we just got to see them coaching, you know, or his coaching right there on the sideline and things like that. And I personally thought, I know we're about to get to this, but I personally thought maybe somebody, not necessarily, but Shep probably should go, because how they said that he don't like putting a spy on people. I didn't like that. I thought that was ridiculous. So even was it the D-line coach Todd Walsh? There's been some issues with that as well. You know, I don't know. We'll see though, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And here's my thing: when you talk about the relationship, man, the relationships with Aubrey Pleasant and the players, that's where you may see the backfire, because who you're going to bring in, especially right now in this part of the season, that's going to have that relationship to be able to teach these young guys how to play the game. Like, you know, you bring it up, if you bring up the assistant DB coach, you know, I'm not sure if he has that type of cachet with those players, because that's one thing. He had relationships with all those guys in that secondary, all those guys in that DB room, was a tight relationship with Aubrey Pleasant. So I hope that this doesn't come back and bite the Lions in the behind, because either one or two things can come from this firing. Either one, they're going to start playing better, or two, they're going to start playing worse. And it's hard to get worse from what they're playing, but it can happen. That's just what my thing, man. Hey, if you like the content, man, like the video, share the video, comment on the video, man. Thanks for rocking with us right here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Yo, home for Detroit Lions news and rumors. Hey, family discussion topic for today. Go ahead and answer this thing in the comment cards, because you know how we like to hear from you guys. Was firing Aubrey Pleasant the right move? Let us know what you think in the comment section of this video, man. I know there was a lot of comment. This was the hot topic yesterday all over Detroit Lions Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, everywhere across Lions social media yesterday. The firing of Aubrey Pleasant. Was it the right move? That's the family discussion topic for today. Was this the right move for the Lions? I saw an article, a headline yesterday that said, is it talent, scheme, or coaching to blame for Detroit's struggles? And I kind of delved into as far as the defense is concerned, because that's one of the biggest issues right now on the Lions is the defense, because the offense can score points, you know what I'm saying, if we decide to know where the end zone is after halftime, but we can score points. Now the Lions are a young team, right? We're talking about, is it the talent, is it the scheme, or is it the coaching for the defense, right? On defense, they are really, really young. Brad Holmes has drafted a couple of big names out of college over the past 2 seasons as the general manager. We all know the biggest name right now is Aiden Hutchinson, of course, along with Pac-12 standout Levi Onwuzurike, who hasn't seen the field because of injury, and top ACC defensive tackle Aleem McNeil. And you had a standout corner that came from the ACC as well with Iffy, and then, of course, another standout corner, safety, Kirby Joseph. But most of the talent on the field for the Lions, including those last few guys, have came in the mid to later rounds or undrafted free agents. You're looking at AJ Parker, Jerry Jacobs. These are young guys, right? Do the Lions have talent? Yes. Here's a caveat, though. They have the type of talent that has to be developed for some of those young players. They have the talent. They're raw, but they have to be developed. It's not because you got guys that you could take out the package and just throw them on the field, like a Patrick Surtain out there in Denver. You know, he was, saying he came out the womb, backpedaling, saying the defensive stand, because who his pops was. So,
right.
But we have a lot of talent on our roster that has to be developed. So that's the talent. Yes, we have some with a caveat, because it has to be developed and developed properly. And that's where I think the earlier firing we talked about may come back to bite us in the behind. Now, the defensive scheme has been a work in progress the last 2 seasons, because I asked, is it talent or is it scheme? Aaron Glenn has been trying to find an identity for the defense since he's been in Detroit. Do they want to play a 3-4? Do they want to play a bend, don't break defense? Do they want to play an attacking style defense? We don't know, right? We don't know, because we've been seeing a variation of what Aaron Glenn has been trying to do over the last 2 seasons. Now, here's what it is. If AG wants to do that and have an attacking style defense, they have to develop and teach these guys how to play that style. If they don't fit the scheme, if you don't have those players on your roster, you either have to make some subtle changes to that scheme, because you have to put the players in the best position to win and do their best every freaking play. Why? Most NFL players, people think they are, but they're not. And Coach Jones, you can attest to this, aren't plug and play players. Every player is not. You can get a select few that you can put on any team, they're going to succeed. But most players have to fit the scheme. But how can you fit a player in the scheme if you don't know what the hell scheme you're running? Just saying. All right, so you have to make sure that they fit what you want to do. That comes from the general manager and from the coaching staff, because Aaron Glenn has to tell Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell what he needs for his defense, right? Now, so we talked about scheme. We talked about talent. We talked about scheme. Now we got to talk about coaching. So that's where the coaching comes in. You have to have coaches on your staff that can teach and develop young talent on your roster to mold them into what you want them to be and need them to be. So we talked about talent. We talked about scheme. Now we talked about coaching, right? So let's kind of encapsulate all that into what my observation is of this talent, scheme, or coaching that's causing the defensive struggles in Detroit. It is all of the above. All of the above. Because the Lions have young talent on their roster that needs to be developed, and they're not being developed properly. When you pick up players later in the draft, they have to be molded because a lot of these guys are raw, talented players that can play in the NFL, but they need to be molded to fit their scheme and they have to be developed properly. AG has to figure out what the scheme is before he's out of a job because he, like you said, LL, he's next. The warning shot was fired when they fired AP. AG has to be on notice that, hey man, your ass is next in the chute. He's a first-time defensive coordinator. And I hate to say this, he may be underdeveloped as a coach. What do you mean? He was a good secondary coach down there in New Orleans, but he may not be developed enough as a defensive coordinator to be in charge of this type of team, this type of defense.
Corey Underwood?
Say again? So
Corey Underwood?
Yeah, he may be. Because how can you coach and develop players and a scheme and yourself all at the same time? You can't develop a scheme and players and yourself and grow all at the same time. I hate to say it, but I think AG may not have been the guy to take on this job in Detroit. He may have been better served on a team with a more veteran defense where he can kind of go in with guys who already know what to run. He can go in and he can develop himself as a coach with more veteran players because it's hard to develop yourself as a coach and develop a young roster at the same time. It's just hard to do because he has younger coaches on his coaching staff. How can you develop yourself, your coaches, your scheme all at the same time? That's too much to ask for one person. Now, if you came in with a veteran defensive coordinator, and that may have been one thing. You brought in a guy who was seasoned. Say they brought in a Tyrell Austin, somebody who's been a defensive coordinator in the league for a while. That's one thing because they've been there. They know what to do. But you bring in a guy who's a first-time defensive coordinator, a first-time play caller, and he has all this young talent. He has to develop it with all like young coaches like Aubrey Pleasant. He was an assistant out there in LA. He wasn't the secondary coach. He was an assistant. So you put him in. He's the first-time secondary coach. Kelvin Shepard, first time coaching as a linebacking coach. So of course he has a couple of guys that are experienced, like a Ty Wash, but you don't have a lot of coaching experience on this team because even the assistant guy that was the assisting Aubrey Pleasant was young. So you look at that stuff, man. I hate to say it right now, but right now, AG, to me, from the outside looking in, he's in way too far over his head, and he is going to be next in the chute because his coaches, his players, and his scheme are not working right now in Detroit. What do you guys think?
I mean, that's it, man. It's all three. It's not one. You can't put it on one factor, whether it be scheme, talent, or coaching. It's all three. And, people like to blame the talent. They're like, oh, we ain't got nobody. We have pieces. As you've seen, we found some success playing cover 2 man last game. So it's just mixing it up, and know when to mix it up. It's a little bit of talent because like you said, they are raw. It's all three, man, and I just didn't want to see Aubrey Pleasant go, man. Not because he's from Flint, not because he's from Michigan, but because he develops talent. And man, AG, you next, bruh. Better stop playing with him. Ain't nobody playing with you, man. Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, they ain't trying to lose their jobs, man. That homeboy hire is going. See you in a minute, cuz. What you got, LL?
Right. Of course, I'm gonna agree. I think it's all three, but I've said it a couple times this season. I know I said it a lot last season. Was trying to figure out was it the X's and O's or the Jimmys and Joes. I'm gonna lean. It's all three, but I'm gonna give a bigger slice of the blame to probably the scheme. Coach Mike, you called it out like on especially earlier in the season, like how they was playing like out of position they were playing inside technique. Like you got to squeeze that man against the boundary line. You got get him use that as the extra defender type deal. But he was so shaded so far in, it's like you leaving the whole sideline open
Right.
type deal. So rather that be the guy just not know what he's doing or that being the actual call, it was a lot of mistakes being made in that defensive second. Just on defense all together. You know, they probably could have just picked anybody. Of course, you know, I'm gonna echo it too. I didn't want Aubrey Pleasant to go. Somebody had to go though. But you know, he'll find a soft landing spot somewhere. In no time soon. I mean, in plenty time. You know what I'm trying to say here, real
In no
soon.
time soon,
But
yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I it's all three, but I'm a lean more toward the scheme on this one because it's
Yeah.
we've seen it. It's just like we can add certain things, like even on like the bootleg. How are we still getting killed by bootlegs? Like how? So you know, I'm not so sure if if that is a talent thing. You need to fire a bunch of them too. But yeah, for me, I'm gonna lean more towards the scheme on this.
Yeah, definitely. All right, hey
You
man.
know what?
Go ahead.
I
Go
just
ahead, Cole.
one more thing, man,
Mhm.
is we did spend the second pick overall pick on Aiden Hutchinson. So your defense has to be more centered around what's best for Aiden Hutchinson because you spent that second overall pick on him.
Mhm.
So whatever scheme you got, you can't make him fit your scheme. Your scheme has to fit him because he's a top 3 pick.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. All right. Hey man, if you like the video, man, like the video, share the video, comment on the video, help us get this content to more Lions fans, just like yourself, man, right here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl, your home for Detroit Lions news and rumors. You know, I'm rocking the Salute the Service gear. November is Salute the Service month in the NFL. So your boy Curt still will be rocking Salute the Service gear, hat, something every show for the month of November. So it won't be like the caricature. I don't have enough Salute the Service gear to rock something different every day, but I will be rocking Salute the Service all month long right here. And I get my Salute the Service gear where at fanatics.com. The links in the description below. So go ahead and click over there. They have tons of gear on sale, and a portion of the proceeds from that link go to help us grow the content right here on this channel. Go ahead and check us out over there on Lions Nation Unite, the ultimate virtual hangout for Detroit Lions fans. You can catch all your favorite content creators right there. You can catch my man Micro Mike, who was Michelle, Micro Michelle on Friday for Fruit for All Friday with her costume, man. Woo, that was something to behold. And you can check out Dosa Dion, Rad, Everything King, all those guys. Let's Talk Lions right there inside the Lions Nation Unite app. So you can download the LNU app, Lions Nation Unite, in the Google, Android, or Apple app stores, or you can just type in lionsnationunite.com in your web browser to check out that content. And while you're over there, grab yourself some Lions Nation Unite gear at lnushop.com. Get the authentic gear. Don't get the fake bootleg Facebook gear. Get the real gear over there at lnushop.com. Check us out on Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Your home is on the web as well. So check us out over there, Detroit Lions on the Prowl.com. And while you're over there, get yourself some Prowl Nation gear at Lions on the Prowl shop.com. My man, Coach Mike, got you covered, man. I know he had you, man, covered for the big game that happened on Saturday. You know, when little brother took that spanking and then got mad to throw a tantrum in the tunnel. Go to wolverine.com, man, and get yourself some gear, man, because if you're a Wolverine on Saturday and a Lion on Sunday, go over to wolverine.com. Coach Mike gonna hook you up with all that great gear over there at wolverine.com, man. And we just finished, Cancer Awareness Month, but help my man, Big Lion Man, out. Go over to his link in the description and get yourself some Roll Up gear. It helps support the American Cancer Society of Michigan. And, that's a big thing for me. I lost my mom to cancer, my stepdad, my uncle. That's a big thing, man. Help fight still one of the biggest killers of individuals in the world in the fight against cancer. So, with all that being said, man, let's kind of get back into this content. My man, Coach Mike, holla at me, man. I saw what you wanted to talk about, so I'm a little intrigued. So talk to me about this, man.
Yeah. Well, you see a lot of articles coming from many sources, trying to throw people under the bus kind of for trade things, man. And none of them have been confirmed, but they're rumors. So like TJ Hawkinson, he said the rumors don't bother him. You know what I'm saying? He was quoted in an article. He said the rumors don't bother me, man. It is what it is. People been saying forever they think that Penei Sewell should be the left tackle. So, Taylor Decker is involved in the trade rumors. I personally wouldn't trade Taylor Decker. I don't care about Penei Sewell being a left tackle, a natural left tackle. Our offensive line is dominant, and I wouldn't even mess with that chemistry. Monty Warrior is being thrown out there. I don't know what the hell you can get for him. A conditional 7th-round pick. I don't. I really don't know. Michael Brockers, of course, he's always going to be thrown out there because he's like the extra piece that's just there. Like he just like water, Brockers, water. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that is, man. But you know what? The one guy that I feel might get traded before the 4 o'clock deadline is DeAndre Swift, and only because DeAndre Swift could have been back a week before the bye. Amon St. Brown came back in a limited fashion. And I feel like DeAndre Swift could have came. He tried, quote unquote. He thought he was gonna play that week before the bye.
Mm-hmm.
He comes that game after the bye. He doesn't play, and then he only gets 5 snaps or 5 carries in the game. And if you look, another guy who was being on the trade talks is Kareem Hunt. And he's played. So a lot of guys don't play right before they get traded, but they just want to let you know, like, look, he can still move, he can still go, he ain't hurt. I feel like that's what they did with DeAndre Swift. And people are like, oh, we can't trade Swift. Hey, the Panthers traded Christian McCaffrey. Okay. You know what I'm saying? That's their most talented piece they got is Christian McCaffrey. And they traded him. So you really don't trade staples of your offense if you're in that, oh, we're building, like, you know what I'm saying? So that lets you know how early we still are in this rebuild. Where people are, pressing the panic button. But I seriously think DeAndre Swift, if any player is to go, I think DeAndre Swift will be the person to go before the 4 p.m. Trade deadline today, man. Because Swift, he can be replaced, man. I hate to say it, man, but his absence, his lack of the amount of carries he can take, how often he gets dinged up, is just not good for the future. Maybe he can go to another running back room and be successful. I think a Jonathan Taylor type of 3-down back is more of what they want instead of an Alvin Kamara type of do everything kind of scat backish type of player. I just don't think we're in a mood for that, man. So what do y'all think about that?
I don't think the Lions trade anybody before the deadline unless it's a haul. That's just me. Now, because I don't see anyone that another team wants to spend picks on for the Lions due to lack of consistent play and winning. That's the deal. Like, okay, Christian McCaffrey is better than DeAndre Swift. I'm just gonna lie to you right now. His production has been better because he's been playing. He has that. He's been hurt too, but he still has more time on the field. And you look at where he went to out there in San Francisco. They're doing a running back by committee. So wherever he goes, if he goes, that's what it's going to be. But however, Brad Holmes may get desperate and trade somebody. The lack of winning is shaking up Allen Park right now. And I'm going to tell you, that scent of white diamonds is getting strong in Allen Park as Sheila Hill walks through the building. She rolling up on the cats, man. That scent of white diamonds is getting strong, man. So it may be we may get a trade today, but we may trade for somebody, or somebody might get traded because that desperation may be setting in. What you got, LL?
I really hope she do wear white diamonds. I just really want to say that. But yeah, I don't know. I like the theory though that if you wasn't drafted by these guys, then you could probably go. There are some of the players that we can get the most for too. And all of those guys can be replaced. I know you said you probably wouldn't trade Taylor Decker. I was probably one of the first people saying that last year, but it was in the respect of getting a lot back from him. I wouldn't have traded him, just for a bag of chips and some cookies. But we actually need something back. If we're gonna trade you something, we actually need something. I don't know. I don't know what's going to end up happening. Honestly, it's a lot of rumors out there. I haven't heard any necessarily about our players, but just about other teams, what they might want. LA was trying to get Christian McCaffrey, so they might be still looking for another guy kind of like that. I don't know if they'll, reach out about DeAndre Swift. One thing I don't know if he'll be traded either because I seen on Sunday on the sideline, like after one of his runs, he was kind of working on, like, it was like, moving his arm around. He had like them little band things on his arm, so it might be like
Mhm.
a shoulder issue or whatnot. Or I
Yeah,
think I might have heard them say that
yeah,
his ankle was cool, but his shoulder's not, or whatever it is. So,
yeah. He's
um,
still in with that shoulder. Yeah,
I don't know. But trade anybody that we can get some valuable stuff for.
yeah.
If we
That,
can
All right.
get rid of Michael Brockers for anything, just about a can of soup would be better than that. But
yeah.
I don't want to see necessarily. I don't want to
Mhm.
see any of those guys go, but trade them for the right price. Go.
The only thing, I mean, if it's a production thing, I get it, but you're hitting the restart on you when you trade away cornerstone pieces like that. And I'm not really saying
Yeah.
Swift, but like Hawk, you're restarting your rebuild over again. You kind of resetting your rebuild. So that's the danger you have with trading some of these pieces away.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
the
That.
you
Yeah.
you
I mean, that's
can
true.
you're resetting your rebuild. So, but with all that being said, man, hey man, like the video, share the video, comment on the video, man. It's 2-piece Tuesday, you know what I'm saying? Right around the corner, man. It's Thirsty Thursday. So make sure you follow us on your favorite social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, man. Go holler at us over there, see some behind the scene footage, and it's always time for a nice drink over there on LL's page, on his Instagram page. But Thirsty Thursdays get you right. You know what I'm saying? Hey, go ahead and like this content, man. But now it's time for us to do my favorite thing. It's time for us to zip our lip and see what you had to say about yesterday's show. It's time for the comment cards, baby. First up, Galloping Lake 6 says adjustments to the secondary linebackers and defense line were non-existent. If Campbell doesn't win 5 games, he'll be fired. Okay.
Kirkland Pratt says the defensive game plan was terrible. Maybe man up with safety over the top. That zone D was trash. Coach Mike called it out. That was seeming to work a little bit, but then it didn't no more. Maybe that's why we pouring out a little bit for Aubrey Pleasant today. Thanks for the comment.
Chris Amick says, out of all games so far this year, this is the one that looked like the Lions were trying to lose.
Man, that's a tough take.
Man, yeah,
I mean,
you know what, man? I wouldn't go as far to say that, man.
Dang.
It was just we got better second half adjustments, man. We got young talent, young coaches. You got to make better halftime adjustments.
Man, that's a rough one. All right, Galloping Lake 6 is back again for the second time around for this show, man. 4th and 2, you're gonna have to look at that again. Swift wasn't open. I did go back and look at that. He was not open on the sideline. He was about 6 feet outside of the pocket, still about 5 yards to go from the first down. As Hawk was in blocking, Swift wasn't looking back at Goff when Goff threw it. It was more like Swift with a decoy in that play. I will say I went back and did take a look at that play, and you were right, Galloping Lake 6. I would have given it to Jamal Williams instead of calling a passing play. Bashir he would have gotten that first down. I believe that would have been a better call. I don't like the passing on a 4th and 2. I don't. If you got a dominant offensive line, you got a running back like Jamal Williams on a short yardage play, you give it to the big fella and let him do his thing, man. All right, but what you got, LL? But thanks, Galloping Lake 6. Thank you for pointing that out, man. I went back and took a look at that.
Yeah, thanks for the comment. You gotta draw up your best one. Your best. That power right, whatever it is, and run it behind whoever you got.
24 ISO.
Mm-hmm.
But Feardom says Dan has to fire or demote Aaron Glenn. Yeah, something. Or well, we got what we got. It wasn't Aaron Glenn, it was Aubrey Pleasant. So, I guess we'll see what happens next.
Yeah, Lyle Shaw says we can never play a full 4 quarters. Man, don't that seem right? It just has to do with scheme and switching up, man, adjustments and putting our players in the best position. But I feel you, man. But thank you for your comments. We enjoy them, man. We're glad there's a full slate, man. Make sure it's a full slate again today. Don't slack, man. Y'all got a little bit of responsibility too, man. Y'all got to be out there with them comments. Let us know what y'all think about, man. If you like this content, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, man, and help us get this content out to more Lion fans just like yourself. What you got up next, Curt? Let them know what it is.
All right, so everyone knows this. Everyone else's favorite segment of the show. It's time Dessert with your man Curt, brought to you by Delightful Bites, custom cookies and desserts for any occasion. If you like how they look, you'll love how they taste. Go to the Facebook page. The link's in the description. If you don't do the Facebook page, you can go to TikTok or Instagram. Type in Delightful Bites, and you'll see all that beautiful dessert footage. Delightful Bites. Get your cookie on. Now, I'm gonna say a phrase by our late founder, Jim Bordeaux. Thanks for rocking with us. And I was always kind of stuck with me. He always thanked the people who came in and tuned in to the show. Thanks for rocking with us. We miss Jim. We're coming up on that 1 year anniversary here shortly. You know, November, Thanksgiving's coming around. And sometimes evil rears his head and then good rears his head right behind it. Because there was a comment in the comment section yesterday, and I was gonna address this person by name, and something happened last night, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. And we've been through our bumps and bruises. We went through lower viewers, higher viewers. The show has kind of changed. We've lost some people. Some people just miss Jim and they don't want to come back or watch the channel because it hurts because they miss Jim. We miss Jim all the time. Some people say we've kind of changed. We haven't changed. The voices have changed because we miss Jim's voice. That's the only thing that's changed, because everyone you see on the screen right now was actually handpicked by Jim to be on this show. And we do our best every day to honor his legacy and his memory right here on the channel. We have not changed the show format. The format is still exactly the same as Jim had it before. It's exactly the same. We have one missing voice, and his voice resonates through us because we speak about Jim all the time, and because he's in us and he's in the show, he's always going to be a part of the program, right? And to that person that said what they said, nope, that's not the case. We're just going through a time right now where it's going to be a little bit difficult. And some things are going to be, a little difficult. Our audience has changed a little bit. But does that mean that the show has changed? No. It just means that, we have different voices leading the show. Because I was a whole bunch of self-doubt and a whole bunch of by myself, and am I doing okay? Am I leading this show right? And last night about 9:40, I get a call, and it was a friend of the show, and he wanted to call and ask me my opinion about the Aubrey Pleasant situation. They didn't even want to wait for the show. They called me directly and said, hey, man, what do you think about this? I know I ain't crazy. Tell me what you think about this. So you had the ugly devil rearing his head in the comment section. And then you had good right behind that person had me doubting myself and doubting the show. And then someone calls me and they had to say, man, I love your crew over there. I like what y'all doing. And I clicked inside the tab of the show today to kind of check some stats out. And one of the first comments I saw were, you guys are amazing. So again, we're trying to keep the legacy of Jim alive. We're doing the best we can. And for all those who have joined, and all who have stayed, in the words of Jim Bordeaux, thanks for rocking with us. And that's your dessert with your man Curt, brought to you by Delightful Bites. Delightful Bites. Get your cookie on. All right, man, let's take that quick walk on over to the Wall of Fame, baby. First up, we got my man Joseph Carter in the building, George Eagle, Timmy Birch over there in the bronze members, along with my man Shano the Insano. Silver members, we got Cap Ice Cold, Batman of the 313, Mr. Scotty the Bear, the Frenchman, baguettes and all that, and Big Dale rounding out the silver members. In the gold members, man, y'all know what the gold members meet is tomorrow at 3 p.m. We got my man North and Ken in the building, just in the D, Michael Lewis, Lady Lionel of Douchebaggia, man. If you want to check her out, go over and check out the recording of the Linus Layer. She held it down with Val on Sunday, man. They do a good job with that content, so go check them out over there, man. You got the jazzy one, Paul Jarose, is always in the building at the Gold Members meeting at 3 p.m. tomorrow. So make sure you check the community tab tomorrow. And y'all know who it is. It's the doctor, Dr. Detroit. He is always in. To become a member of the Wall of Fame, click that join and now button in the description. Now it is time for final thoughts for today's show. My man, my mellow, we missing this today. So get on the mic because you know you eat jello. LL, what you got for today's show?
Happy Tuesday, two-piece, taco Tuesday, other beautiful things on Tuesday as well. Shout out to the boy Aubrey Pleasant, man. It ain't all your fault. I know you're gonna find a great landing spot, and I know you're gonna do a great job. As far as the dessert with Curt, that was kind. It was kind of making because I'm not aware of what the comments said, but of course context clues I can grasp. What it might have been, and just certain things. I didn't really like it. I was going to say a lot more mean things probably, but the end of it, how you said, just in the words of Jim, man, thanks for rocking with us. And that's kind of how I like to do anyway. I like to focus on my wins, not my losses. I got a homie, that's his saying, count your wins, not your losses. You can't really worry about who ain't rocking with you, because they ain't gonna make you no money anyway. The people that's rocking with you gotta, focus on them. You see that with a lot of entertainment. I'm gonna just shout out Freddie Gibbs. I know a lot of people might not like him in the real work because he's doing some other stuff, but just his marketing, he focused on who does rock when that's what the game plan or the business model is for a lot of this out there. So, if you don't like it, sorry, but if you do, thank you. Bring more with you. We got more for those that like it anyway. Go ahead and get you some dollar conies if you can find them today.
Yeah, man. I just want to tell the Lion fans, man, strap up. Because that 4 o'clock deadline is today, and somebody might lead this team that you don't want to lead this team, man. Don't be shocked. Just accept it, woosah, and move on, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. All right, so first off for today's show, man. The trade deadline is coming up, man, and we will discuss any trades that happen for the Lions tomorrow. So, and then we will start getting you ready for our game preview for the game versus the Packers on Sunday. So we'll start a little bit of that tomorrow. But again, thank you for rocking with us right here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl, your home for Detroit Lions news and rumors, man. And for that brother who gave me that call last night, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That's all love right there, man. And that's exactly what I needed to make sure I could get myself refocused and ready to go for today's show, because that doubt was creeping in. But I appreciate that. I needed that upliftment, man. Sometimes it's the small things that I tell you, always be kind to people, and a kind word goes a long way. So definitely thank you again. And like again, man, like I said, thank you for rocking with us right here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl, your home for Detroit Lions news and rumors, man. It's Tuesday, man. Two-piece Tuesday, Taco Tuesday, whatever you eating for lunch Tuesday, man. Enjoy yourself, man. Definitely go out and have a productive day, man. And just be kind. Give a kind word to someone. Ask them how they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Compliment them on what they have on. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a creep about it, but hey, if someone has on a nice, something nice, hey man, you look nice today, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate it, you know what I'm saying? Don't be layering all that stuff, man. Don't get yourself into sex harassment stuff, but if somebody being, somebody has nice, man, compliment them, because you never know, man. That little self-doubt may be creeping in, and that kind word can help them go about their day and have a productive day. You never know. A kind word may stop someone from doing harm to themselves or others. Right. You never know, man. So with all that being said, man, hey, this napkin, because you had a two-piece or you had some tacos. Get this napkin, man. Wipe them crumbs off your face, man. Finish your drink and get back to work, baby. And whatever you're doing in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. For my fellas, LL and Coach Mike, this is Curt Steele, and we will holla at you real soon. We love you, Jim.